every hidden evolutionary advantage of your breast size explained by knowing Noah. We are ready, and we start with a little bit of boobology. Boobology. Whatever. We're gonna look at this. We're gonna look at this. Moobs. Oh, that was not what I was referring to, but you would know. Anyways, but yeah, we'll go in. We'll go in. I have no idea what to expect here, because, well, obviously I know all about boobs.
AA to A, Agility Elites. All your life, you thought you belonged in the itty bitty titty committee. Turns out,
Itty bitty titty bitty. Well, it's fine, right? I'm a strong defender of A cup. All cup sizes are bestest.
life was preparing you for a completely different game. Welcome to the Agility Elite build, optimized for mobility, heat control, and energy efficiency. In early human environments, especially hot equatorial regions, excess fat wasn't just neutral, it was costly. Breast tissue is metabolically active fat, meaning it increases heat retention and caloric demand. So reducing it, you get better cooling, lower energy burn, and less drag during movement.
Well, that makes sense, right? It's just energy saving. It's just energy saving. Makes sense, right? The most agile women, a lot of athletes, right? Female athletes also are very flat, so that makes sense. Focus on boobs, guy. I like boobs, all sizes, all shapes and sizes are great. I like them all.
Think of it like nature's version of ultralight backpacking, stripping away every unnecessary gram so you can go farther on the same fuel. And in survival terms, that's not a small edge. That's the difference between keeping up and falling behind. But here's where it gets more interesting. The strategy also changes how people perceive you, instantly. Smaller proportions tend to cue youth-associated signals, which don't scream immediate investment. They suggest longer-term potential. And that perception shapes behavior. When attention isn't constantly tied.
So you are saying that the more people will consider you a whore. What the actual fuck? That's rude. That's rude. That's a bit unfair. What about my flat girlies, okay? What about them? They deserve attention.
Tied to appearance, you build stronger internal validation systems. You rely less on approval and more on your own decisions. So the pattern becomes more independence, less overthinking, higher risk tolerance. And then there's the hidden advantage most people never notice. It's a social cheat code. You often bypass others' threat detection filters, especially in competitive group dynamics, which makes it easier to form a
Threat detect. Since when are boobs threatening? I've never feared boobs. I just fear the thing that they're attached to. Women. Women scare me. You love them all, but don't you have favorite? Do I? I haven't had enough contact with boobs to know this. But I think I do have favorites. I do have favorites. Anyways. Her whole personality isn't her. That's what we're said. Pretty much.
alliances based on competence instead of comparison. Less friction, more trust, faster bonding. So the Agility Elite build isn't about standing out. It's about moving freely, thinking independently, and integrating smoothly into any environment. But evolution always trades one advantage for another, because when you dial down mobility just slightly, something powerful starts to increase. Social gravity. And that's where the next strategy begins. B, efficiency champs. You ever meet someone and everything just fits? Like your brain doesn't even question it. It just approves. That's the B range, the efficiency champ build. A precise calibration between energy cost and reproductive signaling. Not maximal, not minimal, just efficient. Biologically, this range maintains low to moderate energy demand while still signaling estrogen presence, a key cue in perceived reproductive health. And research suggests that in long-term mate selection, subtle signals often outperform exaggerated ones, because they imply stability over volatility. Here's the key distinction. Your brain reads extreme traits as high-variance bets, but balanced traits, they register as a blue-chip stock reliable, consistent, low risk.
Balanced. As all boobs should be. Interesting. Interesting. So a B is just balanced. Interesting.
The kind of signal that pays out over decades, not just days. And your brain loves that. But here's where things get interesting. This perception doesn't stay external. It shapes your entire social experience. Because when you're seen as stable, people approach you differently. They trust faster, open up sooner, stay longer. And over time,
Bro, I don't, by the way, I'm gonna say this the way it is. A for agility, B for balance. Yep. I'm gonna be real. I'm pretty sure none of the things told here are actually true in any way, shape, or form, okay? Right? I'm not gonna lie, right? So here's the thing, right? I'm not gonna lie. It's probably not true. He's just pulling the shit out of his ass.
that builds a powerful internal identity. The grounded one, the safe one, the person people can rely on.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. Nobody looks at like a woman with B cups and is like, so grounded, so safe. I can rely on this woman. No way.
Which creates a specific psychological advantage. High social fluency without high social pressure. C to D, fertility magnets. Some people don't enter a room quietly.
Fertility magnets. C to D is fertility maxing. Anything higher than D cup. That's crazy. The personality traits are crazy, kinda. Yeah, it's like, huh? What on earth? Okay, that's rather interesting, but bro. The fertility magnets. That's interesting.
Their presence lands before they even speak. That's not confidence. That's your brain reacting to a high-intensity biological signal. The C to D range represents the fertility magnet build, a system optimized for visibility, fertility signaling, and resource attraction. At this level, the signal gets louder. Biologically, increased breast volume correlates with higher stored energy reserves, which historically indicated the ability to support reproduction through moderate scarcity. Your brain reads that as resilience, not just survival, but thriving under pressure. And that triggers a specific response pattern. Attention increases. Investment interest increases. Protective behavior increases. This is the resource acquisition effect, where stronger fertility cues attract individuals more willing to provide stability, protection, or long-term investment. But here's where things shift. High-intensity signals don't just attract, they filter. Some people feel pulled in. Others feel pushed out. It's a natural
resource attraction and gatekeeping with your boobies. I don't know if people he's just pulling this out of his ass. Nobody's like looking at like a C or D cup and is like, yeah, no, I'm good.
sorting mechanism. You don't have to chase alignment. The signal does it for you, drawing in those who can handle the intensity and filtering out those who can't. Efficiency through exclusion. And that creates a very specific social reality. You're not background. You're noticed, remembered, and reacted to. Which means, over time, you don't just participate in social environments. You start to shape them. But the most powerful shift happens internally. This is what we call the fertile glow effect. And it's not just a vibe. It's a subconscious biological feedback loop. When your presence consistently triggers attention, your brain updates its internal
he is really just completely pulling this out of his ass, isn't he? Because like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't react to that at all. I'm like, yeah, okay. Nice boobs. Moving on.
model. I have influence here. That increases dopamine-linked approach behaviors. More eye contact, more initiation, more social boldness. So the pattern becomes confidence rises. Flirtation becomes effortless. Leadership emerges without force. Not because you decided to be confident, but because your biology keeps confirming that you can be. So, the magnetism build isn't just about attraction. It's about turning visibility into leverage and presence into influence. But when the signal continues to increase, it stops being about magnetism alone and starts becoming something deeper. Emotional gravity, DD to F, nurture powerhouses. You ever notice how some people
Nurture powerhouses. Yeah, we're getting out of hand. The next cups are my favorite. They are your favorite, but are you their favorite? That's the important question. It can be a favorite all you want, but can you touch them? Can you feel them? You probably can't.
don't just attract attention, they make people feel safe almost instantly? That's not personality alone.
The mommy milkers! He just essentially said it. He said it. He just said it. The mommy milkers. He just said it. He just straight up said it. He didn't outright say mommy milkers, but he literally just said, yeah, they're right. The nurturing, the mommy energy. Interesting. Interesting. So all my A and B girlies aren't leaders? Yep. So it would seem.
That's your brain detecting a resource-rich group survival signal. The DD to F range represents the nurture powerhouse build, optimized not for individual performance, but for group resilience and long-term stability. At this level, the signal shifts from attraction to abundance. Biologically, higher fat storage historically signaled something critical: winterproofing. Not just the ability to reproduce, but the ability to sustain others.
Winterproof. Yeah, because that's so relevant in a modern society. Clearly. Wow. You can hide your face between them. They nurture. You can hide something else in them as well. Anyways, moving on.
When resources disappear. Extended lactation, energy reserves, metabolic buffering, all point to one core message. This system can carry more than just itself, and your brain reacts immediately. This triggers what we can call the safe harbor effect. Cues associated with warmth and nurturance have been shown to reduce cortisol, lowering stress, and increasing trust. In simple terms, people relax around you faster. Walls drop, defensiveness fades, connection accelerates. And this isn't just about motherhood. It's a universal biological shorthand for sustenance. Your brain detects a safe harbor, and its first instinct is to lower its guard. But here's where it becomes powerful. Abundance doesn't just create comfort, it creates social flexibility. Because when someone is perceived as a source of support, groups unconsciously assign them positive intent by default.
Very positive. Large boobs positive. I mean, okay. That just means highly breedable. The power of DD double D to F. Yep. The power. The power. Crazy.
Mistakes are forgiven faster, and tension diffuses easier. Well, not because of bias, but because the group benefits from keeping that stabilizing force intact, which leads to a rare form of influence: power without competition. It's the quietest form of power there is. You don't have to fight for the center of the room naturally organizes itself around you because you're the one who makes it feel stable. So the nurture powerhouse build isn't about visibility. It's about becoming indispensable to the emotional ecosystem. But when the signal scales even further, it stops being about nurture alone and starts becoming something else entirely: rarity, presence, and undeniable force. G plus, the sovereign signal. Some people don't just get noticed. They are impossible to ignore. That's not just a
You think they do F to G cup? Well, now they're doing G G plus. There's no NOF samples in this video, Poke. So it would seem. So it would seem. That is very true. That is incredibly true. So it would seem. It's just very interesting. Cause yeah, let's see what the G's do, right? So the A's were the agility build, the B were the balanced ones. The double D, like the C to D were like the fertility ones. The double D to F would be the mommy milkers, and now we're here at G plus.
tension. That's your brain recognizing a rarity level survival signal it almost never encounters. The G plus range represents the sovereign signal build, a strategy built for maximum reserves, maximum presence, and maximum distinction. This is the far edge of the spectrum. From an evolutionary lens, extreme adipose storage signaled something very specific: survival through catastrophic scarcity. We're not talking seasonal dips. We're talking ice age level volatility, where food disappears for extended periods. In those environments, most strategies fail. This one doesn't, because it carries insurance built into the body itself: energy for survival, energy for reproduction, energy for others. And your brain reads that as, this is a system built for the worst case scenario. But here's where things
The survival boobs. Extinction level boobs. Yeah. Indeed, undeniable force. Might be quite the gravitational force of these things might be quite strong.
shift from biology into identity. Because at this level, the signal isn't just strong, it's rare. And rarity breaks comparison. There's no easy reference point, no blend-in option, which forces a psychological adaptation. You stop trying to fit, because fitting isn't available. This is where icon status emerges, not manufactured,
I mean, you might have some issue fitting these anywhere, to be fair. I'll be real.
but inevitable. Because when a trait is this uncommon, the brain stops categorizing it as better or worse, and starts categorizing it as distinct. And that distinction creates a powerful internal shift: fearless authenticity, less self-editing, less comparison, less need for approval. Because there's nothing to calibrate against. And then comes the most overlooked advantage: boundary setting without negotiation. At lower signal levels, people ask for space. Here, space is assumed. Your presence defines the terms of interaction before words even enter the picture. Social dynamics organize around you, not over you. You don't need to assert dominance. Your signal does it preconsciously. So the sovereign
I don't need I don't need dominance. I am the dominance. She is the dominator. Wow. Yeah, he's just pulling this out of his ass, I'm quite sure, and it's hilarious. The band some of you are probably listening to while watching this. The boobies. That's crazy.
signal build isn't about attraction or even influence. It's about being unignorable, unreplicable, and self-defining. And when you zoom out, you realize something important. You were never looking at breast sizes. You were looking at different character builds in the same evolutionary game. And if you're still curious, which, let's be honest, you are,
Quiet. Make a video about wiener sizes. Thank you, Dommy Mommy. Probably. I'm sure those need space. I am very sure that those need space. Anyways, now we know. The boobs and what they do. The boobs and what they do. The power of boobs. That's all. I like the pair that I own. They're pretty nice. If you know, you know. Aside from that, yeah, I think a lot of this was just full of shit. And honestly, all women are breedable if you get them into the right position. Anyways, crazy.